Greetings, Patrick here. Dollar Theater, the Voters Edition, and it's also Action and Adventure August. So this week, this week was probably, I don't know what I was thinking. I thought, well, this could be competitive, because it was pretty competitive last week. But no, absolutely not. This was not a competition at all. Overwhelmingly, voted for this movie and not even draw any sort of perceived suspense because we all know who won. And that is Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom from 1984. Directed by Steven Spielberg. Screenplay by Willie Hayek and Gloria Katz. The story came from George Lucas. Thank God he didn't write the screenplay or direct it. The movie starred Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones, of course, and Kate Capshaw. It's a very interesting piece of trivia I'll tell you about. She played Wilhelmina Willie Scott, a nightclub singer. And I know I'm killing names again. Ki Hoi Kwan as Short Round. Of course, we all know his story. Really quiet middle career. All of a sudden, just blew up. Everything, everywhere, all at once. Won him an Oscar, and he's been doing really, really well since then. Has really turned out to be a very, very cool success story. He just never gave up. He just kept working and kept grinding, and he caught lightning in a bottle, and he got himself an Oscar. So, and in actuality, he saves this movie. He saves it's without Short Round. That's the end of Indiana Jones. We would have never got another one. Indian star Amirish Puri as Mola Ram. He plays our bad guy, and he's a big star in India. When he was actually asked to do this movie, he was actually shooting. Get this. He was working on 19 films at the time that he got asked to do this role. 19. That's how popular he was, and I guess he couldn't say no. And of course, one of our favorite bad guys is in here too. Rick Young. Rick Young is a legendary bad guy. He has played in a lot of movies, including the first Transporter. He also played in Kiss of the Dragon, where he played the official they were trying to keep alive, and he got killed. And he's done some other films as well, really well-known films. But he is very young in this role. I had to go back and look at it because I saw him in this, and I'm going like, I know that face. So the story is the prequel. This is not a sequel to Indiana Jones or the Raiders of the Lost Ark. They didn't want to go back and do more Nazis because that's where the second story, you would think that would be picked up there. So they said, well, why don't we do a prequel? Let's introduce Indiana about who he is, what's he all about, and so that's what they did. And he's an archaeologist, and he's trying to make a deal with a triad boss for a diamond, and of course there's a double cross, and Indiana Jones is actually poisoned, and he's poisoned. And we see Willie Scott has done this really wonderful song and dance, and then she came over to the table to see the triad boss because that's who she was working for, and then Indiana, once he found out that he was being poisoned, or actually before he was, they're going to, try to fleece the diamond from him, he holds her hostage, thinking that she's, important to the Triad Lord, who, not really. But he does make the trade. He makes the trade. So Indiana's got his diamond, but that's when the Triad boss poisoned him. And so there's this tremendous action scene for the first part of the movie where they're trying to get the diamond, and they're also trying to get the antidote for Indy. So they do get the antidote, and for some reason, we'll talk about this a little bit, but for some reason Willie decides to go with Indiana. So he dashes out there, calls for short round. Short round brings the car around, even though he's only about 12. And they drive to the airport, and they think they're getting away from the Triad boss when they climb onto the airplane, not knowing that the Triad's boss controls the plane. It's his plane. So they didn't know that when they got onto the plane. Well, now they're flying toward India, and I couldn't understand that part either. But we'll talk about it in a little bit. But they're flying, forever and a day. And finally, the pilots say, now it's time we're going to leave him, and we're going to have him die in the Himalayas or India. So they jump out of the plane. And, of course, Indiana Jones is very talented, but he's not a pilot. So he decides, well, there's only one thing they can do. The plane's out of gas. They're not going to make it past the mountains. So he grabs a raft, and he blows off the raft, and they all jump in it. And then they wait for them to pass over some snow-covered mountains. And yeah, I know, right? I was sitting there watching it too, and going like, okay, when I was watching this movie the first time, I could suspend my belief on this one, but now I'm watching it now at being the age that I am, and going like, yeah, you would have been splattered all over Six Ways to Sunday in there. So anyway, but it is what it is. So Indy and Short Round and Willie jump off, and they go through the snow, and they end up in the water, and they end up looking like they're going over the falls, but they're rescued at the last possible moment. And then they go ahead and they meet the young Maharaja of this little kingdom. And before that, they get rescued by this village, and the villagers tell them that some cultists have come in and taken not only their sacred rock, but they also have taken their kids. So this is child trafficking, and they've taken the kids from the village. So Indiana says, yeah, we'll help them out. So he goes and he meets the Maharaja, and they have some adventures there, including almost getting killed several different times. The scene at the dinner table with the dinner is absolutely priceless. They're being served all sorts of exotic dishes, and Short Round and Willie are just not having it. Finally, Willie just passes out. She faints because of what they're eating. So yeah, it's pretty it's pretty exciting. And then when Indiana finds out about the 5 Sankara stones, he wants to retrieve them because the stones of the villagers, that's what is one of the stones, the Sankara stones, and it's been stolen, and the stone has power to do great good. So they decide that he's going to help the villagers out, and so off they go. Of course, they run across the young Maharaja Singh, and he's a young man. He's probably a little older than maybe Short Round, but he seems to be, he's saying that they've been hearing about these cult called the Thuggies have been causing trouble, and one gentleman tries to persuade everybody that that's just a myth. And the Maharaja says, no, I've heard it too. So that's never gonna happen again underneath my rule. So Indiana tries to get the stones, but he's captured, and then he's put underneath some sort of hypnosis. And this is the part where Short Round saves the day, because Indiana he's drugged, he's hypnotized, and there's no way out for him. He sacrifices. He's going to sacrifice Willie, the main bad guy, Ram. He's going to make Indy do his dirty work. And at the very last moment, Short Round gets there and has to use fire to wake him up, to break the spell. And finally he does. He wakes him up, and he says, I'm okay. And then they go ahead and free the kids. They recover the stones. They defeat the bad guys in a thrilling bridge set piece. That was really cool. The British come in at the last minute and save the day with some late heroics and some firepower. And Willie and Indiana, well, they have a Hollywood ending with a Hollywood kiss. All right, so this movie is definitely, it's 41 years old, so it's not, it's out there. Everybody has seen it probably, so many times. But it is a beloved series. Indiana Jones is a beloved character, and this movie was actually the third best of 1984. This made the most money, third most money at the box office. I think what was really interesting about this film, it's rated PG. And when I was poking around about this, doing some poking around about this, Steven Spielberg did not like this movie. He did not like it. He still doesn't like it. He said the only good thing about this movie was that it introduced him to Kate Capshaw. And he says this movie is very, very mean-spirited and very violent and very dark, and compared to Raiders of the Lost Ark. And he's not wrong. This movie it's out there. It's like I'm sitting here going like, this is some gory shit here. I mean, people were, the way they were dying, and it's just, the big bad guy, he gets, just like in other movies, the big guy comes out, the main henchman, and he dies horrible death. So this movie here, like Jaws must have opened the door, must have, cracked open the door, because people talked about Jaws being rated PG too, and they're going like, that's not a PG movie. And so, there was talk, after Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom came out, there was strong talk about making, in fact, led by Spielberg himself, to make another level of ratings. And so because of Temple of Doom and its violence, that's where we got the PG-13 rating. And ironically, the movie here, Temple of Doom, one of the stars of Temple of Doom is Kate Capshaw. And she came out in the second movie ever rated PG-13 by a week. Only by a week, because Red Dawn came out, I think, a week beforehand. But the following week, they came out with Dreamscape. And that was the second movie that was rated PG-13, and that was featured Kate Capshaw. How about that for a piece of trivia? Yeah, but overall, though, I mean, for an action movie, this is top drawer. It's exciting as hell. Yes, it's dark. It's definitely and full of creepy critters. I mean, if you have heebie-jeebies against snakes or bugs, this one might trigger you for sure. But if you're looking for a good, exciting movie, you can't go wrong with the Indiana Jones Temple of Doom. I feel like the first three were the best. Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, and of course The Last Crusade. The Last Crusade is my personal favorite. A lot of people feel the same way. Crystal Skulls, I saw it, wasn't enamored with it. And I still haven't watched the Time of the Destiny movie yet. I have it. I just haven't had any sort of like urge to go see it. But this was fun to watch. I really enjoyed this quite a bit, and I'm glad everybody picked it out. So that is my review for Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Like I said, it's been out there for a while. You can get it anywhere. You can get this at they keep releasing the sets as well every time there's a new Indiana Jones movie, which I hear they're already cranking one. They're thinking they're going to do another one, not with Harrison Ford, mind you, but they're going to do another one where they're going to reset it. I don't think they're going to reboot it. I think they're going to reset it and put him back, because he was Harrison Ford was actually in his 40s, if I'm not mistaken, when he did this. So there's plenty of room to go back to when Indiana Jones, there was a TV show called Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, which showed him, with River Phoenix, that showed how he got his whip and how he got his hat and his scar and stuff like that. And you could actually go back and reset the series back to that era right when Young Indiana Jones ended, and you could pick it up. And honestly, I'm all right with that if they did that. I think it'll be, as long as George Lucas is not involved in it. No, please. As long as he's not, trying to write the story or anything like that, I think it would be interesting to see what they could come up with. There is a lot of young stars that would be interesting to put in to the role of Indiana Jones. So if they decide to remake it, that's one series I would not mind seeing more of. I mean, I was actually rooting for Shia LaBeouf. I was, when he played Indy's son, I thought if he wasn't such a nutcase, I would have said use him. He would have been great. But I thought he was great in the movie, but I didn't hear anybody go overboard in praising him. I think he probably caused his usual shtick on the set, and they were going like, okay, we used him, we got the movie made, but moving forward, do you want to use him for another movie? And they probably just said, the studio said no. And he's still not really redeemed out in the public eye, so I'm not sure that Shia could actually open this movie. Even with the Indiana Jones name, I don't think he could open it up. I don't think people would come to watch him play him, which is a shame because he would have been really good at it. Okay, Indiana Jones, you get it anywhere, and yeah, let me know what you think. What's your favorite Indiana Jones adventure? Drop it in the comments down below. Let me know what your favorite was. Who's your favorite character? Did Willie Scott scream way too much for this movie? I thought she did the first half, but when she was screaming in the second half, it didn't feel organic because she's already overcome so much. Like, you think after a while she become a little bit battle hardened to it, and rolling up her sleeves to get things done. But yeah, I couldn't understand why he had her screaming the whole damn movie. And so yeah, that's it. We got one more week of action and adventure to go. I'm going to be putting that down there and let you guys vote. I snuck in one of my favorite movies in there. Well, at least a sequel to one of my favorite movies. See if you can see what it is, and that's the one I'm going to be voting for. But we'll see what you guys pick. And we'll be back here next Friday and see who wins. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you soon. Peace.